Hello all. And when I say all, I mean it. Women, men, children, whites, blacks, gays, and Asians alike. Everyone in the world is welcome to come before my humble personage and listen to God speak through me. My name is Martin Luther King Jr., and today I want to tell you a little story about a pastor from down south in Atlanta, Georgia. As I said, it started in Atlanta, Georgia on January 15, 1929. I was born of two loving parents, Martin Luther King Sr. and Alberta Williams King. My mother was a teacher, and my father was a servant of the Lord Almighty. That is what led to one of my many occupations as an adult, those being a pastor, a humanitarian, an author, a civil rights activist, and a public speaker. I had one brother and one sister, their names being A.D. King and Christine King Ferris. Sadly, only my sister is alive today. My brother and the youngest member of our family passed. In the year of 1953, I married Coretta Scott in Marion, Alabama. We bore 4 children, their names being Dexter, Yolanda, Bernice, and Martin Luther King III. But now enough facts about my kinship, and let's move on to anecdotes of my career. In the year of 1955, I received my PhD in systematic theology from Boston University. That same year, a group of my companions and I banded together to march for freedom and equality. We called our little initiative the Civil Rights Movement. One of my many responsibilities during the movement was to lead a boycott of the public transportation systems in Montgomery, Alabama. The boycott started on December 5th, 1955, and lasted for more than a year. For that 1 year, those with dark skin did not ride those buses, and those who did, like Rosa Parks, did not give up their civil rights and their seats to the whites that tried to take them. On December 20th, 1956, the boycott ended and laws were passed to lessen Jim Crow and segregation on the public transportation systems. I must not forget one of my favorite pieces of writing ever, the letter from a Birmingham jail. While peacefully protesting, my companions and I were apprehended by the police force. While sitting uncomfortably in jail, I began to format my letter. The letter discussed how all we were doing was fighting with our words to see a brighter future, and how everyone in the world had a right to break unjust laws for the better good of the public. Lastly, I will now discuss something I'm sure all of the audience has heard of, the I Have a Dream speech. This speech was the turning point in our march. If I simply misspoke a little or mumbled a bit, the foundation of our march would crumble, and our posterity and the Negroes of this time would suffer. Oh, wow. I must be going. The fact that I'm receiving the Nobel Peace Prize today has completely slipped my mind, but I do believe I have a little bit of time before I'm extremely late. The documents informing me I was receiving the Nobel Peace Prize said that I was receiving them for my steadfast commitment to racial equality and my outstanding leadership in the civil rights movement. The documents told me that I was meant for bigger things than just fighting for civil rights. Mind you, this was no small task, but it was still telling me that I was meant for even greater things. Oh, I must now be going. Are there any questions before I depart?